The king of the pirates is finally here. Gol D Rodger's leader has been officially fully revealed ahead of the OP-13 reveals over in Japan, and with it, some of his support cards as well are slowly being teased. So in this video, we're going to go over everything that we know so far, see just how strong this leader potentially could be, how worried that we might have to be that Rodger is finally here. My name is Ben Fitzpatrick. I'm a TCG caster. That means I just love talking about them. So let's do that right now. But before we go into any of the new cards that have been revealed over the past couple of days, if you enjoy this video, please go ahead and drop a like rating on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on those notifications so you do not miss an upload. While you're down there, comment down below about what you think of Gol D Rodger and his support that has been initially revealed so far. And go ahead and drop me a follow over on X, which is 2 followers away from that 350 mark. And in terms of subscribers, we are racing now towards that 150 mark, possibly aiming up 500 by the end of the year. I think we can get there with the rate that we've been going at so far. Thank you all so much for that support. Let's try and keep it going. So, over the past couple of days, we have had the reveal of exactly what Gol D Rodger is going to be able to do. We had the Rodger tease at the end of the last World Championships in around sort of March, April time of this year. And before then and since then, we've kind of been speculating, we've kind of been theory crafting, okay, this is going to be our first 7k base leader in the One Piece card game. It's in red and purple, 2 very strong colors already in the game. But how much life is it going to have? What kind of effect is it going to have? Well, all those questions and more have finally been answered. And a big thank you to RJ Jacinto over on X, who's provided all of the translations for a load of the reveals that we are going to go over today. Let's start with Rodger himself. You look at this card without even looking at the translation and go, this leader already seems pretty good. 7,000 power base, red and purple, with 5 starting life. Yes, 5 starting life. There was a lot of theory on the One Piece community before the official reveal that Rodger was maybe going to have 2 life or something like that, or 1 life potentially as well, be a little bit thematic with him only having 1 chance before he was executed to then start the Great Pirate Era. But no, he's got 5 life, which is a complete breaking of the curve from what we've seen from Bandai and the One Piece card game historically. We've seen drawbacks in the past of like, okay, it's a multicolored leader that starts on 5 life but can't attack. For example, we've seen 6k base leaders that start on 3 life with red, purple, and blue, purple Luffy. We've seen leaders start on as low as 2 life as well with Vegapunk. But this is a 5 life leader, and it can attack, which is unbelievable. Let's go over its effect now. If you have Don on your field, give this leader 1 of the Don cards that will be added during your Don phase. So if you would draw Don for the start of your turn, 1 of those Don must be attached onto the leader. Then, while you have 9 or fewer Don on your field, this leader has minus 2,000 power. So there's a little bit of a kind of balancing going on there. Is before you get to 10 Don, until you get to 10 Don, it is essentially a 5k leader, but it's still a 5k dual-colored leader that has 5 life. And when one of those Don gets attached, it becomes 6k during your turn. So there's that. And then, of course, when you get to 10 Don, you're at that 7,000 power base, and you have all 10 of your Don to work with, so you don't have to start attaching any from the leader effect. Interestingly as well, it says if you have Don on your field. So I'm wondering how this interacts at the very start of the game. Because obviously at the start of the game, you start with 0 Don on your side of the field. You have to draw 2, and you don't have Don on the field at that point. So I'm wondering at the start of the game, do you even need to attach Don? Let me know. I'd like to hear some judges potentially in the comments section down below to clarify that. That's certainly how it feels like it reads on the initial translation. But ultimately, this is a very, very good and very, very strong leader. It seems like, just at face value. And then we get to the support. We've had some of the support revealed throughout the couple of days. And the first card we actually got was actually a card in English, because this is being released in one of the premium collections, one of the sort of alternate art collections that Bandai has been releasing periodically throughout the history of the One Piece card game. And occasionally, we do get new cards and new reveals from these premium products. If you remember Zeus from OP-13, very, very strong 2K counter card, that got initially revealed in English first because of the Zeus and Nami collection, that with the card and the playmat. Kazuki Oden falls into that same category. We've seen him in English for the first time in this premium collection. So Oden comes in as a 5-cost 6k blocker. On play, if you have any Don cards given, add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and rest it. So essentially what we've got here is, it's a ramping queen kind of thing. 5-cost 6k blocker in purple, that queen archetype stat line. And if you have any Don cards given, going to be a very common theme for the Rodger Pirate support, you ramp a Don and it comes in rested. And that seems to be the kind of strategy that we're looking for here for Gol D Rodger. It is just pure ramp really, really quickly, ramp really, really hard, get to that 10 Don range, get your 7k base online, and just overwhelm from there. And it's really, really interesting, because when we were initially kind of theory crafting and looking at Gol D Rodger, we saw that he was in purple, and we said, okay, we've already got a lot of really, really good generic ramp pieces here. Bond Clays, It's to Die For's, the trigger off of God Thread, things like that we're seeing at the moment in decks like Blue-Purple Luffy. Zoro Juro as well, when attacking, you can grab a Don. You've already got those very good sort of generic ramp pieces. But now we're coming in with the Rodger Pirate support, and it's just giving you ramp, but in engine. And in-engine ramp is always really, really good, because that means you can search it out. And we'll get to the searcher in a minute, because we do have one revealed. Let's go to the first of 2 super rares that we're going to talk about in this video. This is Silver's Rayleigh. 8-cost 9k body, no counter. It has Rush though, and on play, if you have any given Don, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Then at the end of the turn, you get an active Don. This is a very, very good card. 8-cost 9k, unconditional rush, so we're ramping early on to get a rusher on board. If you have any given Don, which you will, because you presumably, if you're playing this on curve, won't have hit that 10 Don range yet, rest an opponent's 5-cost or less, which is just ridiculous that we're putting this in a red-purple deck. We're putting green effects in a red-purple deck. Unbelievable. Then at the end of the turn, you ramp an active Don, and that active Don could potentially be used for counter events, anything in the opponent's step. Could be very, very good. And of course, we're just ramping a Don anyway, which means that we're getting up towards that 10 Don range. This could potentially be the 10th Don as well, if you're ramping aggressively and you're playing this on 9. Getting that final 10th Don means that you're not having to draw it for the start of your turn, not give it to the Rodger leader, and activate the 7k base. So there is a lot to really, really like about this Silver's Rayleigh card. There's also a lot to like about Gol D Rodger himself. Yes, what would the leader be without having his own named super rare, a 10-cost, 13,000 power base character? Has the following effects. Your leader and characters without the Rodger Pirates types effects are negated. On play, give all of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power for this turn, then KO all of your opponent's characters with 2,000 or less power. So we've got a kind of semi-board wipe effect here. Also, that effect is a Don -3 as well. The translation didn't quite include that the on-play is a Don -3, but you can see here in the bold text that the on-play is Don -3 to activate. However, you can't negate it because it is without the Rodger Pirates type. I was going to say, however, you could negate its own effect because of the first line of text, but it's without Rodger Pirates that have to be affected. Here, this is what the most accurate translation looks like it's going to be. Your leader and characters without the Rodger Pirates type and effects are negated. On play, Don -3, gain the +2k, and then all of your opponent's characters KO. No, hang on. This effect is actually wrong as well. There's a lot going on here. So the actual effect that it seems like here from small indie dev is that, from what I've seen with Japanese-speaking folks, this is the most accurate translation. Your leader, whatever the tag is, so Rodger Pirates or King of the Pirates, and characters without the Rodger Pirates type effects are negated. On play, Don -3, gain +2,000 power until the start of your next turn. Then give all your opponent's characters minus 2,000 until the start of your next turn. So it negates leader, becomes a 9k, and you don't need to attach a Don next turn. On top of that, the opponent's characters are minus 2,000 power. Two different statements that are going on here. I think your leader is negated, and the characters without Rodger Pirates are negated. So still a little bit of kind of confusion and clarification that's needed. Obviously, we'll get the English translations a little bit down the line, but this still looks very, very cool and still looks very, very good. And a 13k body base does not look like something that you'd be worried about running at any stretch of the imagination. I promised about us having a searcher in the deck. That has been revealed as well. It is Shanks, 1 cost 2k. On play, look at top 5, grab a Rodger Pirates card other than Shanks and add to hand. Very, very standard. Very, very good. You'll be running 4 of these in the deck, absolutely. We've also got a stage that's joining us here as well. The Oro Jackson. Once per turn, when one of your characters with Rodger Pirates in his types is removed from the board by one of your opponent's effects, add a rested Don. So this happens once per turn. It's not a rest effect, so you don't have to rest the stage or anything like that. It's the same as the Purple Sunny, as is pointed out here by Malik, and it's in effect yes, but the Sunny only happens during your opponent's turn. This can also account for trigger effects. So if there's a KO trigger or a bounce trigger that happens in your opponent's life when going ahead and swinging, if that character is removed, Oro Jackson activates and gets you a rested Don. So not a bad stage by any stretch of the imagination. Depends on how much kind of hard removal that you're going to go for here and how much that's going to continue to develop throughout the meta. But I don't see why you wouldn't run at least 2 copies, maybe, of the Oro Jackson to give you that little bit of defensive potential. Make sure that you've still got your Rayleigh on the board. Make sure you've still got your Odin on the board, as well as some of your other characters that we'll get into in just a second that can help continue to generate that value for you. Speaking of value, we've got some really, really good value here with Scopper Gaban. 6 cost 7k, 1k counter. On play, if your leader has the Rodger Pirates type, draw 2 and trash 1 from your hand, then get a rested Don from the Don deck. This card is just ridiculous. This card is insane. It's 6 cost 7k, and because you're ramping, it's going to be really, really easy to get this body out on the board early. Draw 2, trash 1. So we've got Filter, which we're most attributing at the moment to blue, with things like Buggy, like Dracul Mihawk, for example. Then you still get the ramp. This card is just insane. This whole deck at the moment feels very, very strong, as it should be. for the King of the Pirates. But all the support that we've seen so far looks very, very good. And we'll get into some potential counterplays that we could see being run into with Rodger here, as is being teased in the comment there down below. Two other cards we've got to go over quickly. We've got Buggy, which is a 2-cost 2k counter and a 2000 power base. On play, if your leader is Rodger Pirates included in its types, and there's any given Don, you get a rested Don. So this maybe is your turn 2 play, potentially here, if we're going along that kind of line of the rested Don doesn't get given on turn 1, because you're starting the game with 0 Don in your Don area. So turn 1, if we're going second with this deck, which looks like might be the play, although if we're going along that line of you're not having to give a rested Don on turn 1, going first might not be a bad idea. Because if we're going first, taking into account that we're not giving rested Don on turn 1, because we don't have any Don in our cost area. So we go turn 1, draw 1 Don, play Shanks to search, get whatever. Turn 2, draw 2 Don, leader effect gets activated, so one of them goes underneath. We have 2 active Don to work with. We can play Buggy down, get another rested Don, swing 6. That puts us up at 4 Don. Then turn 3, we draw 2 more for turn, go 1 Don underneath, that's 5. So that gets us Kazuki Odin online, gets another rested Don, again swinging 6 with leader. Then we are at, 6? So we've ramped 1 to 7. Then we draw to 9 Don. 1 attached, we have 8 to work with. That's Silver's Rayleigh numbers, or potentially we could use Gaban there and put some extra Don on the leader to swing high, or try and swing with Shanks or the Buggy potentially. There's a lot of different things that we could do with this deck. Alternatively, if we do have to give one of those Don on turn 1, then second is going to be the curve. Going second, draw 2 Don, attach one of them onto leader, play Shanks on turn 1. Into turn 2, draw 2 Don, put one of them under leader. We've got 3 active to work with. We can then play Buggy and go 1 more underneath the leader to 7. That will put us up to, 5? Then draw 2 Don, we go to 7. Attach 1, we go to 6. That's either Gaban or the Odin, with 1 more Don left over to again swing 7 with lead. There's a lot of different funky play lines that we could potentially go off with here. We'll have to wait for the FAQs and things like that to be revealed. We're still in the middle of reveal season for OP-13 over in Japan. So when we have any more updates or news on the interactions with all of these, I'll be sure to make a follow-up video and clarify exactly how everything is going to fit into place. We have one more card to talk about in this video, and that is Inarashi, a 3-cost 3k body, 1000 power counter. On play, if you have any given Don, add up to 1 Don from your Don deck rested, then KO one of your opponent's 1-cost or lower characters. So we had green effects in the deck with the resting, thanks to Silver's Rayleigh. We had blue effects with the draw 2 trash 1 thanks to Gaban. We've now got black in this deck with Inarashi because we've got cost KO. And you're still ramping. What can this deck not do on the face value from what we've seen at the moment? This deck looks absolutely incredible. So going back to that theme that we were, and those playlines we were talking about from earlier, we've now got a potential where instead of going on that effectively 3 Don turn, if we're going second, we don't just have to play Buggy now and lose a 2k counter out from hand. We can play Inarashi, get a rested Don, and like pop a Searcher or something like that, or pop an engine piece, which is just really, really good, especially against what a lot of people are presuming is going to be one of the hardcore counters for this deck, or at least attempt to be one of the hardcore counters for this deck, and that is Marshall D. Teach. as you will have noticed, all of the effects so far on these characters, apart from the stage, but that's not a character, all of these character effects are on plays. So if we can deactivate the on plays with Marshall D Teach, it's gonna force Rodger into ramping in other ways. Now, of course, there are other ways, as we established at the start of this video, that we can ramp that are vanilla ramping options and are events. We've got It's to Die For, we've got Lead Performer Disaster, we've got God Thread Trigger, we can't use Gear 2 in this situation, but there are other potential ways. But it is going to force the Rodger players to kind of build their deck in a two-pronged fashion. The kind of traditional, or what seems is going to be the traditional sort of Rodger Pirates in engine pieces, and then your non-engine generic ramp stuff, if perhaps you don't see the right Rodger pieces on curve, if you are playing against Marshall D Teach, who's going to turn off your on-plays very, very quickly. It's going to be a very, very interesting time when we get to OP-13 in both portions of the field at the moment. Obviously, Japan's still slightly ahead of us in the release window, but that is going to change by next year when we get to synchronized release. But then we will catch up, of course, and get ourselves, I think it's about January time that we are expecting OP-13 to release for us. It's towards the end of 2025, in towards the start of 2026, I believe, off the top of my head, because we are just a month out at the time of recording from OP-12 releasing in English, releasing for us in the West. So, very, very exciting time to be a part of the One Piece card game, and a very, very strong leader and bit of support, it looks like, that we've got from Gol D, Rodger early. There's not one card here in this list. Maybe the stage, the Oro Jackson, that I'm thinking is a little bit, but there's not one character card in this reveal window that we've had so far that I'm thinking is not an auto-include in the Gol D Rodger deck. So, that is how we're looking at the moment for Gol D Rodger. The King of the Pirate is finally going to be in the game in leader form. And now it is over to you. What do you think of the Gol D Rodger leader and the Rodger Pirate support that we have seen so far? Do you think there's anything that's missing from the deck so far that it needs to be able to hold it into potential tier 1 viability? Are we overhyping this leader? As I know that there are some in the community that are thinking so and are believing that this leader just isn't as good as maybe we are initially thinking of it. Drop the comment down below, but by all means, please suggest those in a nice and healthy and well-mannered fashion. It's all love here. There is no hate whatsoever. But while you are down there as well, if you have enjoyed this video, please go ahead and drop a like rating on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turning on those notifications so you do not miss a video. That is going to do it then for this video. Thank you for tuning in. Until the next time, see you soon. Goodbye for now.